Okay.
Nonsense!
Hold on, Mill. Based on your own principles, wouldn't this method be immoral?
Nonsense!
Inferior, maybe, but not immoral. As long as the rules created still increase happiness overall, I believe this is reconcilable with my ideas. Some gain is better than no gain, after all.
Nonsense!
The game's up, old chap. Oh no, Dad, don't you dare throw this away. I dare. Ari, I know you idolize this man, but it's time to accept that these ideas are not my way out of here. For the philosophy he just proposed boils down to the same one as before. Now hold on, I think that's a bit unfair. Is it? John Stuart Mill, you said that rules should be created along lines which further happiness, is that correct? Of course. And that, when the rules fail to further happiness, they should be replaced with more nuanced rules. Yes, indeed. What is the problem? That's very different from his original idea. Is that so? Then answer me this. If you keep making the rules more and more nuanced, where will you wind up? Huh? You would wind up with the idea that we should act in order to promote happiness. What? The fact is, no matter what rules Bill comes up with, they will always be several steps removed from his original idea, and thus they are imperfect promotions of happiness. We will have to keep replacing the rules to get closer to the original idea, until we wind up back where we started. Ah, excellent deduction, Socrates. Indeed, most insightful. No matter how you spin it, rule utilitarianism ultimately boils down to act-utilitarianism, and thus all the problems we originally established are still there. Our happiness is just waiting for a giant monster to come and gobble it up. No. No! No! I hate you, Daddy. Ari? You are the monster, Dad, the real monster. Did you see what you're doing? This could have been your only hope of getting back. Our only hope of getting back. Ari, You are useless, Dad. Did you even stop to consider? I wasted my life to give you this chance. He's just like, I'm out. Fuck this shit. What did you just say? What did you mean just now, Ari? I put my own life on the line so you could take the challenge. What? Are you serious? I thought that if there were a chance, any chance, we should take it. But Mill is one of the best philosophers out there, and you've run right over him without a thought. You're going to wind up throwing away both of our lives for the sake of your stupid style points. Adrian Jones? I understand where you are coming from, but your father has not done ill by your sacrifice. Not since my days in Parliament have I been subjected to such a spirited critique. Mill, listen, both of you. Unquestionably, it is possible to do without happiness. It is done involuntarily by 19/20ths of mankind. But you don't have to be among them. Oh, this is gonna be freaking sappy shit, isn't it? wanted his car. Ari, why didn't you discuss this with me? Would you have taken the challenge if I had? Dad, I couldn't just let you die. If I had, the loss of happiness would have been too great. But the Arbiter told me the challenge was the only way to bring you back. But the reward could only match what was at stake, so I... What were you thinking, Ari? You should have gone home. You'd have done the same thing if it were me. Yes, well, you're my father, and believe it or not, I don't want to lose you. I can't drive yet. I did this because I honestly thought you deserved the chance, and I've been helping you however I could. But you're not even taking this seriously. How could you say that? If these philosophers were so many different ideas, so many different outlooks, any one of them could have been onto something, but you've torn them all apart without a thought. Your cunning remarks, your stupid puns, you don't really care about getting home, you're just showing off. Look, Ari, it's true that maybe I've been getting a little carried away. I've never been good at this stuff, and you've always loved it. I guess I'm just starting to see why. But it doesn't matter, does it? In the end, you'll still blaze through the options presented to you, tearing them apart, because you're so sure they're wrong. No, Ari, it's actually the opposite. I feel like I don't know anything, and I can't accept their ideas without understanding them inside and out. Especially now I know that I'm not the only one at stake. I'm not here to prove them wrong. I'm here to see if they're right. I'm sorry. Huh? Mill was right. You've really been working hard. It's okay, Ari. I understand. Really? No. You're going to fucking military camp, bitch. You shouldn't have done something like that, but I'll ground you for it when we make it home. And promise me you'll never take up gambling, okay? You're smart, but you don't have a knack for playing the odds. I guess not. Arbiter? I'm tired of this stupid world. Bring out your best philosopher. It's high time I provided returns on my daughter's bet. Paved with good intentions. Oh good, we're going to hell. Socrates. Yeah, Arbiter? I have been pondering the request that I bring forth my best. It seems to me that attempting to assign a quality hierarchy to the philosophers in this realm would be demeaning. I have thus determined that when you requested my best, you meant my most challenging. Wait, what? So on that note, allow me to present to you Immanuel Kant. His thoughts are indeed quite challenging. Guten Tag, Socrates Jones. Oh god, good luck with this one. I can only ever get through the first couple pages of his work. I hope you enjoyed your stay in philosophical kindergarten. For the conflicting methods you have employed to confuse other philosophers will not work here. Why not? No reason. I simply needed to fulfill the prerequisite grandstanding. Grandstanding? Check. Okay then. Kant, if you would please explain your philosophy as clearly as possible. Of course, Arbiter. First, I must counter the unreasoned thoughts of other philosophers. Any true moral philosophy must first and foremost protect human dignity. As consequentialist, thought naturally violates our pride as men. We must work from an intentionalist grounding. Excuse me? I'm already confused. Give me a moment, Hal Jones, and I shall explain. There are many things which men covet as good. However, a focus on consequences reduces men to mere means, undermining human dignity. In reality, the only thing that is good without qualification is goodwill. Thus, we are moral if our will is defined by the intention of doing the moral thing. And there we go. As you can see, I am approaching this from a different angle than the neophytes you debated before. I see. So wait, the consequences of actions don't matter at all? At the very least, they are irrelevant to moral worth. Of course, ideally, one's actions would also have positive consequences, but it is positive intentions that are essentially to be moral character. Socrates, are you ready to continue? Alright, here goes. So far, this doesn't seem too bad. It says you. I'm just trying to freaking get my crappy German accent right. Yeah, let us begin then. this is simply stated. Oh. Our disorganized society holds many things in high esteem. Yeah. Over your time here, you have encountered individuals who believe good to be found in all sorts of things. Security, happiness, piety. I believe this diversity is enough to support my premise. I mean that getting caught up in various ends, whether they be a happiness, a social contract, or piety, causes one to lose sight of what is most important. They turn our beings into mere tools for an arbitrary goal. Cogs in a careless and soulless machine. I believe you have actually discovered this yourself, Socrates Jones. Take, for example, Jean Stuart Mill and his philosophy of utilitarianism. By arbitrarily assigning the status of ultimate end to happiness, philosophy completely ignores human rights and dignity. In Hobbes' idea that good rests in security, any rational person would question how much we must sacrifice to enforce such an ideal. No, all of these philosophers are looking in the wrong places. They are claiming the contingent and ephemeral... I can't say this stuff in a goofy accent. Ephemeral as eternal without any justification. Mankind must not be reduced to the means of some other goal. Any philosophy that does so has become mired in consequentialism. What the fuck? Hold on, I'm gonna have to read this by myself. Okay, I think I get it now. At least that far. What do you mean by this? Goodwill is always good. There is no situation in which harboring good will could be immoral. I'm so sorry if anybody from Germany is watching this. As a man cannot possibly know the consequences of his actions, it is only fit to judge the will upon which he acts. When this will is good, there can be no doubt that regardless of effect, his actions were moral in nature. Assessing the will is the only way to keep man as an end and maintain his dignity. So, what you are saying is, when I tell Ari she can't go to a party because I am concerned for her, my action is noble regardless of her response. This is correct. Dad. Okay, I get it. Okay. As long as we intend to act morally, then we ourselves are moral. This seems pretty straightforward, does it not, Herr Jones? Herr Jones? Dr. Jones? But, how do we know whether the intended course of action is moral? By whether or not it adheres to the categorical imperatives, of course. Oh, of course. No, wait, hold on. What? Can't. These things you just mentioned. Categorical imperatives? Yes. What are they, exactly? Indeed, I don't believe you've ever explained those. My apologies. Categorical imperatives are the moral laws we should seek to discover. Listen closely, I shall explain. If we intend to always do the moral thing, we must develop rules or maxims to shape our actions. There are certain actions which we must always avoid. Other actions we should take at every opportunity. These ideals form rules that we must follow at all times, regardless of emotion or consequence. These rules are categorical imperatives. Okay, the confusion people feel about this man's ideas makes sense now. Where should I begin? Kant? Ach, apologies, Herr Jones. I was momentarily distracted by your beard. It is unsightly. How can one stand to have such a blemish upon one's face? Hey, the goatee is one of the few cool things about my dad. Oh, thanks, sorry. Personally, I always liked the sweater vest. Well, regardless of how you all feel about my beard or my sweater vest, I have questions for you, Kant. Of course, ask away. The morality of an action stems from the rules which govern it. In order to properly assess our intentions, we must therefore carefully define these rules. This is very much a continuation of my last argument. Our intentions must be defined somehow, and we should root them in rules that shape what we should and should not do. If we are unable to define such rules, we will be truly lost. Okay. So our certain actions must always avoid. There are certain things that are clearly always wrong when the maxim behind them is examined. Lying is an example. To lie is to spread deceit among men. By a lie, a man annihilates his dignity as a man. Thus, one should not lie ever. This seems like a grand statement. Do you have an example? Oh. Certain actions? Oh, that sounds like a stupid French accent. Certain actions are clearly always good and should be followed. Give me an example. Helping a dying man. By attempting to render such assistance, one respects human dignity. Thus, one should always render their assistance. Ha, see, Dad? Kant also says I did the right thing. I thought you weren't much of a Kant fan. Hush, validation is always nice, even if it comes in a confusing package. That's just asking for being proven incorrect. The maxims which we can deem to be imperatives must be treated as if they are laws of nature. Even if in a specific situation the outcome may seem personally painful, we have no choice but to follow them. One cannot simply choose to ignore gravity. I can. My metaphor still works. Why such a strict line? When we deem some maxim to be moral, we must follow it. For if we do not, then the power of the idea is undermined, and no good can come from it. Simple. They are categorical, meaning they fall into different classes. They are also imperative, meaning they must always be followed. Kant was always making up terms, Dad. That's part of what made him such a lovely read. Being a term I coined and assigned, I don't think this is necessary. I choose that term, so it is the right one. not convinced we should always follow this rule. There may be cases when helping a dying man would be wrong. Like what? Well, like what if the dying man was the Joker? Is it... who? Dad, is this really your counterexample? Yeah. But Batman would never let the Joker die. Even he would think he should help in a case. Indeed, Batman would be ashamed of you for suggesting otherwise. I love this guy. Okay, I retract my counterpoint.
Nonsense!
Hold on just a moment. Kant, you claim that we should never lie, correct? That telling the truth is a categorical imperative? Indeed. It is the prime example of one. Right. And you also claim that we must follow the imperatives without fail. Is that correct? Correct, L. Jones. Well, that's interesting. Because using only those two facts, it seems to be we are already in a worrisome place. Oh? I will admit that in most situations lying is not the most moral of choices. But there is no denying that there are some situations when the truth can be deadly. Situations where lying would be the better thing to do. Let's say one was sheltering fugitives from an oppressive regime. Keeping them hidden from the forces which would persecute them. It seems to me that keeping them hidden was clearly the right choice, but you would want us to blab to every person who showed up at the door. This strikes me as empirically wrong. Oh, interesting. Way to go, Dad. Right. You can swear in German all you want, but I have a point. Earlier, you stated that things which need qualification cannot be the origin of morality, but your prime example of an imperative just demanded qualification. Well, what do you have to say to that, Kant? Doesn't the intention of protecting these people also have value? Even from your perspective, this law seems far from universal.
Nonsense!
Excuse me, I have to go take my morning walk. He just walked off? He does that sometimes, do not worry. Oh, you're back. Indeed, my morning walk is completed. Morning walk, check. Is there even morning in the intelligible realm? No, there isn't. It is unacceptable. But regardless, back on task. Socrates Jones, the counterpoint you gave earlier was false. That one should not lie still stands as universal. Despite your objections, there is no doubt that to lie in that situation would be immoral. Categorical imperatives stand as absolute, without qualification. But, he's here sustaining by his position? Is he even allowed to do that? Remember, L. Jones, consequences are irrelevant. It is only our intention that matters. To become too invested in an individual scenario is to undermine the sanctity of thought. Once a maxim fulfills the the universe test, it can be accepted as a categorical imperative. At that point, we are obligated to obey it, always. The Universality test? Yeah. The method through which we discover and verify categorical imperatives. Allow me to elaborate. In order to verify the morality of an idea, one must subject it to the universality test. Imagine a world in which everyone follows the maxim behind your action. If a contradiction or irrationality arises, the maxim cannot be moral. And there we go. Explain the universality test. Check. Okay, hold on a moment. What the heck are these things you keep checking off? I have created an agenda. All the tasks which I need to accomplish are presented upon it in sufficient detail. The events of this debate are on your agenda? How is that even possible? Careful planning. Wisdom, Socrates Jones, is organized life. And an organized person would be asking me questions right about now. Right. This is getting harder and harder to deal with. I can't present something I don't understand, but I'm not sure how much longer I can go. I've got to find something and quick. We must verify verify that your maxims stand as valid in all situations. We have established that our principles must be unquestionably moral, yes? Well, in order to ensure such is the case, we must create a situation where every potential question would have to be asked. Thus, the universality test is required. Essentially, in every situation where someone is faced with the choice that they can follow your maxim or not, they would follow it. That is the world you will be imagining. Well, it is an instruction. If you don't understand it, I can explain it better. Then please do. Of course, a contradiction is a situation in which your maxim defeats itself. This is one way an idea can fail the universality test, and rationality is when your maxim would create a world that is worse for wear. Yeah. That is the other way the universality test can be failed. Oh, interesting. If there is a contradiction, then your idea creates problems with itself. Therefore, it cannot be moral. If it is irrational, then you clearly shouldn't want it in the first place. These are pretty good reasons for these to be grounds to fail the test, are they not? After being applied to everyone, whatever, create situations where people may be willed to behave in opposing ways, then your idea is contradictory. As a result, it probably should not be considered. Of course, I shall provide a case study. Let us imagine a world where it was accepted that one should lie for their own gain, as the advantages of lying came entirely from deceiving those who would tell the truth. In a world where everyone lies, there are no advantages at all. In this way, lying for one's gain contains a contradiction. It simply does not make sense when applied as a universal law. Man, this guy really hates lying. This is just one example. Anytime an idea creates inconsistencies with itself, it cannot work. Sometimes the world would clearly be worse off if everyone followed a maxim. For example, if everyone stole from one another, our sense of security would deteriorate. It would be irrational to wish such a world to be. Thus, stealing is categorically immoral. Oh, interesting. I think this stands pretty solidly. One cannot feel a world which would be worse than this one. What do I do? This is getting more and more complicated. Yep, that's Kant for you. Layer after layer after layer after layer of whatever it is he's layering. Back to the top.
Nonsense!
Hold on. The example I pointed out earlier is a problem with the you should never lie principle. That would definitely count as a failure of this test. Now, John's rationality is referred to a world that is worse for wear, not a situation. And a world in which you do not lie is clearly better world than a world where you do. But, as I said before, L. Jones, individual examples desecrate the sanctity of thought. Truly, you should be ashamed of yourself.
Nonsense!
Kant, I've been thinking. You said an irrationality is something which would cause the world to be worse for wear. Then, I'm pretty sure then, For all its good intentions, helping a dying man would create an irrationality. Ach. I will admit, of course, that helping each other, or each and every dying man, is a nice ideal, but the fact is, more often than not, we are frankly not equipped to help, and trying to help in such situations would actually make things worse. I don't understand. This is actually a frequent problem in emergency medicine. If you can't ensure your own safety, attempting to rescue someone in need will put yourself in need of rescue. And if this is a problem for trained professionals, imagine how disastrous it would be in everyday life. There can be no doubt blind obedience to this rule would actually cause more problems than it solves.